Welcome to the Intuitive Therapist Podcast with Janis R. Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as the angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen.
Hey y'all, this is Janis Cohen, the Intuitive Therapist here on the Intuitive Therapist Podcast. Hi, welcome back. Happy to talk to you today. I try to bring unique information to you that will help you, and today is no different. And I was thinking about all the music that I play in every day. I love music, it's my therapy, and then, of course, we hear at the Olympics this beautiful rendition for the opening ceremonies with Celine Dion in French. And then at the end of the Olympics, closing ceremonies with a French artist singing a particular song. And I was thinking about anthems, this concept of anthems. I'm curious if you have an anthem for your life. Like, what song tells your personal story? What does your soul truly relate to? What song speaks about your journey through life, if it could sum it up? And certain songs, they're nostalgic. Others are poignant. And still others, they pull us forward into an identity that we can only wish to own. And for me, like I said, music is therapy. And it hurts, it heals, it brings joy. It can relax you, it inspires you, it can pump you up, it can chill you out. It can help you lean into your emotions better than any kind of talking can guide you, can center you. And most of us have a favorites list of those songs. I know I got a ton of songs on my favorites list that we can't help but play on repeat. There's some songs that resonate so deeply with us. And today I want to talk about personal anthems. What song is your personal anthem? Anthems are songs that have special importance to us. I think most of us can associate anthems with, especially recently since the Olympics happened, anthems with each country, right? They are the music of the country that everybody knows, every citizen of that country knows. But what song speaks about who you are, what you've been through, and what you've overcome? Growing up, one of the most favorite memories that I have is the story that I heard on repeat about my father's experience about his anthem. And his anthem is connected to the story of when he was preparing to take his diplomat exam in psychology back in the 1970s. My father felt a tremendous responsibility to make sure his wife and children had a very different life than he did. He was born in the Depression era, was a child of a physically abusive alcoholic father, and my dad committed to himself to create a life where his family, my mom and us, would never know from such hardship, abuse, and poverty. And my father prepared for his diplomate exam. He studied night and day for 8 months. This, the diplomate in psychology, this licensure, it's the highest degree licensure that a psychologist can earn. You can't get any higher and more exclusive than that. And that exam was brutal, right? And as my father would tell and retell the story, his eyes would often gaze to the right as he recalled each moment of that experience for him, especially when he finished the exam. When the time was to wait for the score. And after he finished his exam, the story goes that he went to a nearby restaurant or bar, I think it was, back in the day to get himself a well-deserved glass of bourbon. Loved bourbon. And while perched at the bar, sitting at, thinking about his life with his drink in his hand, reflecting on the long road that brought him to that very moment where he grew out of the poverty experience and achieved this amazing success in his life. He sat and took in everything that he had accomplished, right? Everything that got him to that point, all the angst he felt, all the struggle, all the focus, all the achievement, while he waited for exam results to come through. Now, of course, back in that day and time, there was not a computer-generated result, right? They had to wait weeks. I don't know if y'all remember back in the day in the 80s when we had to wait for SAT scores for weeks. It's brutal because you're waiting on that one score to determine how you can or cannot move forward. And I'll never forget that as he tells this story, sitting at the bar, holding this drink, thinking about every part of his life, his upbringing, his determination, his shift, the people who helped him, the people who didn't. A song played in the bar. But this song wasn't just an ordinary song. This song explained his life. It was his anthem. And it was Frank Sinatra's My Way. Now, knowing the deeper details of my father's upbringing, and then coming to know my father as such an accomplished man, a good man, the words to that song fit him to a T. He bit off more than he could chew. He had some regrets, but through it all, when there was doubt, he ate it up and spit it out. And of course, there are more verses to that song, but those are the ones that I was just given right now to share. He worked his ass off to make an amazing life for our family, sacrificed himself, time, energy, money, to create and juggle multiple streams of income, teach at universities, write books, consult around the world with big companies, and had a full-time practice, private practice where he treated patients. And if you haven't heard the song, I highly suggest you go listen to it. It's highly likely that you can relate to it too, Frank Sinatra's version of My Way. But for my dad, he did everything he could to make sure that our lives would be better. And still, he was a man with faults and with regrets, but also a man with great pride, strength, fortitude, and perseverance. My father never gave up. He did life his way. So when I say that this song could be anyone's anthem, I mean it. And what I mean by that is that especially for those who don't follow the status quo, who don't follow the rules and they make up their own, who say fuck it to the way everybody does it, and they're like, I'm doing it fucking my way. For those who consciously choose to take the long, arduous, and often very lonely path to reach greater personal heights, the song might just be for you too. You see, when we have a hunger that can't be quenched for something, and those of you who have ever had the hunger I'm talking about, you cannot stop until you've attained that thing, that situation, person, or circumstance. My daddy passed away 6.5 years ago, and when we went to view his headstone, of course, we played the song and wept, because it is truly his anthem. But that's not the end of the story. That's not the end of My Way. You've heard me talk on other episodes, and I believe this 100%, about how our loved ones who've crossed over leave clues for us. And they communicate with us through signs, symbols, and synchronicities in ways that we would be able to say, oh my God, that's that person. And in many instances over the years, I know for me, I can recall this. My dad has let us all know, each of us also, that he's around in different ways. And for me, for many, many, many years, my daddy would show up with the smell of the cologne that he used to wear when we were kids, Brute. And so for many, many years, my father stayed close to me and he would work with me. He would often be on my left side while I did work, and the smell was undeniable. There was no cologne around, right? Or the lights would flicker, or I'd see him in a shadow on the side, right? For some of my family members who are visiting different countries, for example, or on a trip and wishing they could talk to my daddy to share about their travels, the song My Way would invariably come on and be heard, either through someone randomly singing it in another language, or through an instrumental version. This happened to me in the bathroom. I remember I was on a flight, and this is just fairly soon after my daddy passed, and I asked him, I said, just let me know you're here. Please let me know you're here. And I didn't know what that would look like. And so as I'm at the airport, I had to go to the bathroom. I wanted to go to the bathroom before I got on the plane. So I'm in this stall and taking care of business. And all of a sudden, this instrumental song comes on. I'm like, this really sounds so familiar. And it was My Way, right? My father always made his presence known to each of us in some form or fashion, and in a way that ways that we could never anticipate. But they register fully as, yep, that's Dad or that's Papa. But this is the primary way that he communicates his presence to us, through the song, My Way. So what would be my personal anthem? I think probably the song I mentioned several episodes ago, the song Unstoppable by Sia. I just keep getting back on that freaking horse and continue to move forward. I am not one, I'm very stubborn, I am not one to give up very easily at all. Never losing faith in myself. Sure, I have shitty days where I'm like, yeah, I don't think I believe in myself much today, but never at my core losing faith in who I am and what I'm here to do. Or losing faith in the universe. Yeah, there are days where I doubt, but overall, I know what the universe is capable of. I've witnessed the miracles. I know I'm blessed. I know I'm protected. I know I'm loved. And I know I'm doing my life my way. So tell me, what would be your personal anthem? Hit me up on Instagram @TheIntuitiveTherapist and drop me the name of your personal anthem. Maybe Frank Sinatra's song belongs to you too. And take a look and subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Intuitive Therapist with Janis R. Cohen. I will be soon posting some videos on there, so would love to have you on the YouTube channel as a part of this part of my journey. I wish you a blessed day, a wonderful week, and as always, live intuitively.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend, and be sure to give us some stars and a favorable review at Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen in.